Hey everybody, it's Boardman21 and today's build is going to be a Shaman and we're running basically a full Autocast setup. The only thing that you will have to do with this build is run around. That is literally it. If you do want, you can, as we have, set up leap in your right click so that if you get in trouble for some reason or you get stuck, you can leap out. But leap is not one of our specialized skills. However, the rest of your skill bar will be in complete autocast, and the only thing you have to worry about is running from projectiles and dodging mob hits. And it actually turned out to be a pretty good build. As for a Shaman, we did take the number 2 spot with it, and that was with leaving everything in autocast, which can be a little dangerous because as you get in the higher waves in the arena and you need to dodge the big, beetles circle of death and stuff. Avalanche is the only one which is not an instant cast, so it actually stops you for a second, and there's a few times we got stopped inside the circle. However, it is not why we died. We ended up dying to some necrotic rocks. Our protections probably just wasn't high enough, but your defense on this is some high protections and then just lots of health regen. Since you're always running away, you will have leech going, but you also have health regen, so your life basically will stay full at all times, and it's really useful against like the little hits. However, you will end up getting one shot at some point with this build. We also ran super high dodge. With that, let's go ahead and get into it. For skills, we're going to be running Summon Thorn Totem, Maelstrom, Tornado, Avalanche, and Ice Thorns. For Thorn Totems, we have this set up to where we're going to proc it on all the hits that we're doing. We're only going to be wearing one idol, so it's not going to proc a super lot, but it will always have uptime. And we're basically using it for poison, and it's just there for kind of targets for the ants and beetles and everything else to fire at because they do have some threat. But the way we have this set up is to summon all of them at once. We also have homing missiles. We stayed away from the poison clouds, even though this would do more damage, but for us it just lags too much, and we were streaming when we did this push, so we stayed away from it. We have 3 points in Forested Expanse, 3 points in Eternal Forest, 1 point in Groove Mind, 2 points in Ancient Power, 4 points in Oaken Protection, and 1 point in Guided Thorns. 2 points in Memories of Edera, and the last 4 points in Venom-Tipped Thorns. For Maelstrom, we are using this for dodge. It does do some good damage for us as well. It's really nice to have the full area of it so that you can circle around beetles over and over again and kind of keep them right on the outer range, which kind of keeps you in a little bit of a safe zone. But the dodge on it's very important, and with the autocast and it coming right off of the or having instacast and it coming right off of the cooldown with autocast, you're able to stack 6 to 7 stacks of it, which is like 400 flat dodge, which is super helpful in a dodge build. It lets us sit there up in the high 60s, low 70s for dodge, which is a good spot to be at. So with this, we have 5 points in Turmoil, 2 points in Whirlpool, 3 points in Sleep-Footed, 4 points in Calm, 2 points in Arctic Blast, 1 point in Sudden Gale, and 2 points in Arctic Chill. Now, I will tell you, this build is right on the brink. You have 4 skills running in autocast, and it is right on the brink of not being able to sustain it with mana. So there are some things you have to do to make sure this build works, and taking all 4 points in mana efficiency is one of them. You must have all 4 points in mana efficiency, or you will not be able to keep up with the casting of Avalanche, Maelstrom, Ice Thorns, and Tornado. Nice thing about Thorn Totems is since it's procced off the idol, it doesn't cost any mana. Now with Tornado, the reason we went with Tornado is it gives you the aspect of the Storm buff, which gives you more mana regen, and we have full uptime of that, and you're going to need it. So for us here, we have 1 point in Aspect of the Storm, 4 points in Gust of Renewal for that 12% mana regen, 1 point in Storm Dervish, and we put 3 points in Swift Wings to give us 90% increased duration, which puts us at almost 3 seconds. We're actually at 2.9 seconds of duration. And that 2.9 seconds lets us, we kind of go back and forth between duration and cooldown for the skill. So the less we can cast it but still have full uptime of the buff is good. So our cooldown right now is 2.7 seconds, and we have the buff for 3 seconds. So right now we're in that perfect spot where we keep it the whole time and we cast it the least amount of times possible. If you put more points into this, you'll end up having the cooldown faster. You'll be casting it more often, and it was just too much mana drain. So 2 points we found was perfect for the cooldown and 3 points for the duration. We also have 3 points in Lasting Storm, 4 points in Hurricane, 1 point in Eye of the Storm, 1 point in Snapgale, and obviously 2 points in Storm Soul. For Avalanche, we're using it as a cast and forget, since this is the only skill that won't be an instacast. You also don't want to be stuck channeling. So we have 2 points in Explosive Impact, 1 point in Mountain Peak, 1 point in Precision, 1 point in Wild Path, 4 points in Unyielding Storm, 1 point in Hailstorm, 3 points in Intensity, and 4 points in Stormfront. I did skip the other corner on purpose, and the reason why is for mana efficiency is super important, but we were able to get away with only 3 points in Naturally Occurring for that 30% mana efficiency, and we put the full 4 points in Stormfront. If you have mana problems, I recommend taking out the 4th point in Stormfront and putting that 4th point in Naturally Occurring for that 10% mana efficiency. That will reduce your cost from 47 down to about 45, which saves you 2 mana every 10 seconds, which might be enough to, keep you equal. And then for Ice Thorns mana cost doesn't matter because we're using a two-handed weapon, and so it's 0 mana cost while having a two-hand equipped. So we have 1 point in Emblem of Might, 3 points in Anemophily, 1 point in Thorn Shield, 4 points in Bulb Shield, 1 point in Second Nature, 6 points in Floric Tides for that maximum cooldown, so we'll be casting this every second, 3 points in Bark Shield, and 1 point in Eternal Protection. For passives, in the base class, we have 2 points in Natural Attunement, 8 points in Primal Strength, 5 points in Tempest Born, 5 points in Wisdom of the Wild, and 1 point in Rotband. We have 0 points in Beastmaster and in Druid. We have 15 points. We have 6 points in Blood Claws, 4 points in Veil Warrior, and 5 points in Healing Totems. The reason for the Healing Totems is because you want as many totems as possible for the boost and protections and the boost in cold damage. And so with 5 points in this, a 10% chance on hit of casting it is pretty good. It's kind of counter efficient due to the fact that we are running dodge, but it's still nice. We usually get 1 or 2 of them every now and then, and it's pretty nice to have. For Shaman, which is our main class, we're mastered in 74 points. We have 8 points in Rejuvenation Totem. Since we will always have totems active, this 160% health regen is very nice. We also have 8 points in Shamanic Infusion, 8 points in Silent Protector, 10 points in Windbringer, 5 points in Shattered Heavens, 10 points in Protective Circle, 6 points in Ruin of Awe, and 9 points in Sky Armor, and 10 points in Ascendant Circle, which gives us 40% spell damage per active totem. And we normally have 5, 6, or 7 that are active, so you're looking at 200 to 300% increased spell damage, which is huge. And then for items, so as a health regen build, we went with lots of health regen. You can see we have health regen, some void protections on them. You can put whatever you want on them. And then for our bottom 1x4, we have you need a chance to summon Thorn Totem on hit, and then we have increased cold damage per active totem, which maxes out at 22%. So this one's a pretty good roll. And then for items, we're running a two-handed staff. You need mana regen. Do mana regen first on the weapon. On this one, we were lucky we found one with high spell damage and cold damage, and we added in the mana regen and poison protection, and we got T5 on it. And you can get up to a maximum of 54%. We got 51. You need over 48%, which is less than the halfway point on it, so you're more likely to get it than not. But you need at least 48% mana regen in order to sustain what we have here. If you fall below 48%, if you only get 47 or 46, you'll find your mana kind of goes down slowly over time, and eventually you'll have to stop in between arena waves at the continue point to regen all of your mana. Or maybe even sooner if it's a longer battle. I'm just going to hover over everything. We're running set health regen and set elemental on everything. We are not running set dodge. We just have some short amounts of dodge put here and there, especially our rings. We got good rules on those. We did not get 100% critical strike avoidance, but we did get 100% glancing blow. And that's it. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some gameplay. The one thing that you definitely want the most of is you want to make sure your mana regen gets to 18. So with Tornado, make sure that you have 18 mana, and you'll see we have full uptime. We have 17 without the tornado, but with it, we set at 18. 18 mana is that breaking point on whether you will be able to actually run this or not. And then if I put all these in Autocast, you will also see that our dodge goes way up because of Maelstrom. And our dodge actually sits when we have the full sacks here. Let's see when we have it. At 7 stacks, we are sitting at 62% dodge, 64% dodge. So it's between 62-64% dodge, some decent protections. Necrotic obviously was our weak point, and that's where we died to. So throw some more of that on your gear, maybe even instead of poison. And yeah, that's it. I'll go ahead and give you some gameplay.